You good? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. A lot of history.
A lot of
A
history.
lot of history.
This is awkward, right?
No, not
Not
really.
really.
I got my pillow.
Right. But I mean, me and you is awkward on camera.
Nah, I think maybe to certain people,
Right. To them.
not to me.
Not to
I'm
you.
be honest.
So should we tell them the truth that we did this before?
That's yeah. Well, I mean, I think first maybe a small intro of who we are. I guess for people that don't know our relationship, do we do that first, or we do talk about us trying to do a podcast?
We do. We do. We do that first.
Okay, come on.
So I'm Kim Osorio.
And I'm Benzino.
Right. And I used to work for you.
When people say that,
work at.
I never want to take
You
that.
were the
like,
boss.
I never wanted that.
Right.
I never wanted that.
Okay, so we're not gonna start like this.
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna be
just
real.
know.
We're gonna be real. I used to work for you at the Source magazine.
I know, but I
I
always
was the first female editor-in-chief of the Source magazine.
Oh, now that's a fact. Now I'm responsible for that. But as far as boss and work for me, I'd always like to just pass it on to Dave Mays. Like the whole time
But Ray.
I never want that responsibility
All right.
of you work for me or I'm the boss. I just
There's so much for us to get into right now, but we
That was
have to be
All right,
keep it
so,
real.
okay, so
we
I-
have to, and I've always kept it real about the situation.
Okay.
It came a point in time
right.
where I realized that I couldn't get answers from Dave, and I had to get a job done. And I just stopped going to Dave, and then I went to you. Now, the difference, I believe, between what I was doing and maybe people before me, I don't really know what your relationship
It was a
with them.
difference with the previous editors in chief. And I'll go ahead and I'll tell you the difference.
There became a time where I was like, I would ask Dave, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Because, and I don't know before I got there how it was, but when I was there, if editorial wanted to give someone 5 mics, if editorial wanted to put somebody on the cover, those are things that we had to get approval for. That was the
Yes.
rule for me as an editor-in-chief. That
Right.
was my job. So even though I had reign over the magazine's editorial,
Right.
I still had to get approval. I still had a boss.
Well, I mean, to be honest, even when I first got to the Source, it wasn't necessarily, I was still really in the streets and then doing my own rap thing, right? When me and Dave first got together. And then he was doing it with his 4 partners, and they was all Ivy League
But
guys.
this is 10 years before me.
I know that,
This
but
is like-
it's just that. But I'm trying to give you the point of how I never.
By the time I got to my job,
I had more of a responsibility, yes, and I was more comfortable in my role. But I still was uncomfortable
boss.
about being a boss or about
you
working
were
for me.
the boss.
If you
Why
can,
you don't want to say
no,
you
because
were
you know
the
why? You know
boss?
why? Because I always try to be one of the guys. I would grab guys from over that because it was split. There's the business side,
Right,
and
and
then
the
there's the editorial
Yep.
side. So I go grab everybody and go on to the fire escape and smoke with everybody, bring weed, and just try to make everybody happy. Because what everybody didn't really understand, and this isn't a knock on Dave, because I still,
And I don't want to knock on Dave.
no, not at all. And I have a lot of love for Dave, and me and Dave are listen.
I heard y'all broke up, though. I heard y'all broke up. I heard y'all don't talk.
Yeah, I haven't spoke to Dave in maybe 7, 8 years, right?
All right, let's say
Yeah,
that.
we'll
for
talk
later.
about that
Save
later.
for
But I can say this: Dave wasn't the easiest guy to talk to as far as the staff, and I started noticing that. And I became like the conduit, the in between. Hey, do you think you could tell Dave? Or hey, do you think you can? Or hey, you can? And everybody thought I was like the evil guy under the bridge. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody did think you were the evil guy.
And it really wasn't like that. Like now, if I got upset, it was I had anger issues.
Yes.
So if I got upset,
Do
necessarily,
you think you still have anger issues?
absolutely no. A little bit, but it's nothing like it was.
No. I can probably say
I've climbed mountains compared to back then, and
Right.
I've probably got a little ways to go, but it's just very little at this point. Like I've really improved in that area. But I still tried my hardest to always kind of be cool with everybody, and at least to get people to like Dave. Because the worst thing I didn't like was people not to like Dave. Because Dave acted like a boss. A boss is like, get out of here. I don't know. A boss, like, you can't necessarily get personal with your boss in a workplace. It's not necessarily allowed, and it doesn't make good business. And that's what I think Dave was. I think that's what he kind of understood, or maybe he was. But I just know that I was in the go-between, and to make everybody comfortable. Prior to you taking that job, all the guys that were editors-in-chief, it was always a problem. And the problem was me. The problem was
This is good. This is accountability.
Right. So me and Dave's, but I'm not saying, listen, that was their problem. Now, yeah, I mean, did it make sense? It didn't make sense to me. Because see, their thing is just like how you said, and this is probably where I messed up and I'm taking accountability, is that here I am, like, it wasn't until 94 where Dave asked me to be a partner. And the only reason I was a partner was because everybody else walked out because of me. The whole entire staff, 30, 40, 50 people said, like in 94, hey, Dave, if you don't step down from your position,
right,
and you and Ray get the fuck up out of here, then everybody's walking.
And let me just say that I've heard these stories year after year, even working at the source and being there. Like,
right.
I wasn't there. I was very young.
Some of your friends were. Puerto Rico, remember Puerto Rico? We could talk about that too. Remember Puerto Rico? Who was in the van in Puerto Rico?
First of all.
No, but it's true. Some of your friends were there. Some of your friends were there. At the
time, some people that I was very cool
with. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, no. Yeah, I'm not holding you nothing for that.
They were there. But,
yes.
but I did get maybe bits and pieces of the story from not just friends that might have been here, for other people, and that story was passed down year after year.
What did you hear that I'm going to tell you my version? How about that?
Okay, I heard that, and look, I have so much more information now because I've done my homework.
But what did you hear back then? What did you hear back then?
Back then, I heard that the almighty RSO... Why are you laughing?
Go ahead.
The almighty RSO.
Yeah, because that's what it was, the almighty RSO. That's what the fuck it was. It was
so
crazy.
This was your rap group at the time. The almighty RSO kind of used to bully the staff, right?
Right.
And that at a certain point, the staff stood up to you guys and decided that... You laughing?
No, because
decided that they weren't
going
to take it anymore. So they wrote a letter and a petition to have Dave step down. And in that letter, which I have since seen.
You got the letter?
I saw
Is that lady? Is that letter crazy? You would have thought I was.
I didn't see that letter till 2026.
What was the dude's name for Hannibal Lecter? You would have thought I was Hannibal Lecter. You would have thought that I was in the corner eating people's feet and arms. It's like, what? Listen. All right, so let me tell my side.
Wait,
you got more? You got more? I didn't know there was more, but go ahead.
So they put this letter forth, this petition, asking him to step down.
Sent it to everybody, by the way, in the industry.
Sent it to the industry.
I
did hear that.
Labels, radio stations, everywhere.
Right, and then when he didn't step down, the majority of the staff walked out.
Right.
That's what I heard happened in 94.
That's exactly what happened. Now, from my standpoint, we was living in Boston, so we wasn't living in New York.
I'm still on you eating people in the corner.
No, yeah, it's like because the letter. The letter was like
you were pretty bad.
It was like a packet.
You do recognize that there was a piece of you that was pretty bad to work for.
Well, I want to know what was,
and I will tell you.
All right, but let me tell you what my side of the story.
Okay.
As far as the walkout, and then we can.
So sorry. Can you just put that mic in a little bit closer to you?
Okay, so let me tell you as far as my side of the story. Like, me and Dave had a relationship, and I wasn't, when everybody's like, stop saying you discovered the source. What's his name from Philly? Chris? What the fuck is his name?
There were a lot of Chris's.
This bozo keeps texting me, why do you keep saying you discovered the source? You didn't discover the source. I was like, well, you shut the... I said, where are you at? I said, I don't give a fuck about that. I said, where are you? How about me and you link up and you say that to me?
These are the anger issues.
No, but this is the shit I have to deal with. So this is years later.
Right.
So I never claimed to say that I found the source.
Right.
Dave Mays and his 3 college buddies,
Right.
John Schechter, H. Edward Young, and now the deceased James Bernard.
Right.
You know, he committed suicide. Okay.
I heard. Horrible.
They was all going to different Ivy League schools, and they came together because the idea was Dave's. And I
How
think,
do you know the idea was Dave's?
well, because Dave had a radio show, all right, at Harvard. It was Dave's show. John had a rap group called BMOC. Big man on campus, so bozos mean nothing, whatever. I used to hate John Schechter.
You didn't? Do you still hate him?
I don't be around him to hate him, but since the last time I was dealing with him, I hate him. Most likely, I still hate him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And this is why. And you know
I
what?
never met him. I don't think.
Disliked him. Let me
Okay.
use dislike because
Right.
hate is such a
Strong word. You got because you got
hate.
You gotta love
use-
somebody.
Hate.
to hate.
No. Let's use hate because this is what I didn't like. Okay. Now back then, John was like the original culture vulture. Way before Eminem even was thought of.
Oh my God.
Jay
We are
Schechter.
not allowed to say Eminem ever on
No. Yeah,
podcast.
we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, because you got a lot to do with that. Jay Schechter. Jay Schechter was Dave's roommate. Dave was a white guy that just was cool, man. Like some white guys are just
Some
the
white
way.
guys are cool.
No, but damn right. Because they are who they are. They don't. When you try hard to fit in, is when it gets awkward.
You don't think
And
Dave tried hard to fit in?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Dave grew up in D.C. That's a black neighborhood. He had black friends. He went to college with black. I mean, he was around them. That counts. If you're in Wyoming and you never grew up around a black person, then you're gonna be shaped different if you in Washington D.C.
I get it. But let's table that part. Let's
Right.
table that part because there's so much there. There's so much there because I really also feel like sometimes when a story comes out of the source, it becomes this story of like, oh, the great white hope, like the white man saved hip hop with this wonderful, magazine. Like everybody was a piece of that history.
Well, but we got to give Dave his flowers because
I
listen,
never want to take Dave's flowers away.
No, but
he is not. He does not stand alone. In
No.
the creation of
But
the magazine.
I would disagree, and this is where
He
Dave
stands alone?
This is where he stands alone because certain things in history, Dave is a history transcending person, and this is how. At the time in 1988, hip hop was 15 years old. All right, and it was still finding its legs. Advertising and companies definitely weren't.
He was the business side.
All right, but not just the business side. He had the vision. Dave was looking at Rolling Stone back there at Harvard, and he had the vision. He put out a one piece of newsletter from his radio show that he had 2 hours every Saturday because, Harvard's playing classical
I get it, but I want to move on from Dave because Dave's story is boring to me.
No.
Dave has always been
I'm
kind of boring.
just saying.
But I'm saying your role in the source
Yeah, but
is part of the source story that makes it better. Because without that, it's just a boring old story about.
You can't have a peanut butter
Dave
jelly
was
sandwich
in
with just jelly.
The dorm room, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have this great
No.
hip hop magazine." Like, no.
No, he didn't do that. But he did, well, almost. Like Dave, I'm telling you, matter of fact, it was like that. Dave was like really gun-ho because he loved hip hop. He came from a go-go background, but he loved hip hop, and he really wanted to make his mark. He knew that he couldn't rap. He knew that he couldn't make beats. John was in a group, but he couldn't. But he wanted to be a part of it, and this was his way to be a part of it.
Right, but it with the 4 people that came together with him.
That was
right?
after the vision. Dave.
Right. Okay.
That was
fine.
after.
Listen, I don't have no problem with giving him like, I have the light bulb in my head. I'm gonna do a magazine.
Yeah, but that's
like,
everything.
I'm the
But
first person ever thought about
that's
doing a
everything in
magazine.
hip hop.
I get it. But let's move past the Dave thing. The Dave shit be boring me. I can't even front.
No. It's not
You know
necessarily
why?
that. It's just how the story. Like the thing was when it got to '94. The point I was trying to make was I didn't have anything necessarily to do with the Source magazine from '88 to
right,
1990.
right.
Like I was Dave's. Me and Dave developed a really good friendship. I was a rap group. Dave helped us get a couple of deals
Right.
from inviting people from New York to come to Boston.
So will you agree? Dave was the business guy.
Absolutely.
That's where he gets his props and his credit.
Well, yeah, but he started out with the creative vision. He ended up being the leader of, I mean, really the pioneer of advertising and bringing companies to hip hop, the pioneer, but also he had the creative vision to understand that hip hop was still growing and hip hop needed to be covered the same way Rolling Stone covered rock.
Right. And so he gets flowers for that. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's
right,
almost
but we all get a little piece of
yeah,
flower.
I mean, the guy that invented the light, we got to,
you all
you
get a
know.
little piece of flower.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Everybody can have a little piece of the source flower. And I think the problem with the source and the story with the source is that whoever is getting the flowers wants to hold the flowers and they don't want to give a little petal to everyone else that contributed to a legacy.
Well, that only goes on how important you was. Like, look at you. You've turned your time at the source into a lot of other amazing things. Books, TV producer. You've done a lot of stuff from that. Not saying that you wouldn't have did it without that.
Right.
But if you was at the source and you didn't go, because a lot of people have. There's a lot of people.
A lot of people graduated
went on to
into
do
great
major
things.
stuff from the
That's
source.
the story.
So if you didn't, that was pretty much like, not a reflection of you, but that was on you.
Right.
So, you know, with me, I was a street guy, man. I was selling drugs. Like when Dave met me, I was selling a lot of drugs.
Right.
And from 88 to 94, I was selling a lot of drugs. I had a rap group. All my money was going into the group. Dave invited people down. We got a couple of deals. But we used to go to the source when it was on Broadway, on Houston and Broadway. And this is what they're talking about bullying. Let's say we go up there and there's T-shirts on somebody's table. We might take the T-shirt off the table. Like, it ain't that serious.
Right, it wasn't that serious. You're
Like,
saying they exaggerated.
Me and John
the
never liked each other.
So you're saying this idea of the almighty R, so you with, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 people would be up at the offices and y'all was taking promo shirts.
Promo shirts. That's the most of it. And maybe 2 times the DJ would take some albums off of somebody's desk. But it wasn't like we was like bullying them, beating them up, and like we wasn't starting trouble. We wasn't even really dealing with them.
Right.
Their problem was because we were so close with Dave, and they felt like Dave's supposed to be with them. See, that was the thing. The whole time the source, from the inception of the source, Dave's with us chilling, and the whole source staff is, everyone's happy because it's the source, and they all have jobs, and it's a great thing.
It was definitely the best job I ever had.
It was an amazing job. Not just
best job I ever had.
Because it was an amazing job, because it was never done before. You could come out of college and write about hip hop, something that you love.
Yep.
Like, what's better than this? Is a dream job for you. You know what I'm saying? It's better than working for the New York Times, writing some shit that you don't want to write about.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I think maybe we all took for granted back then.
Maybe, but
I think a lot of people took it for granted that we had.
That's a good way to put it. I could see that.
Job where
I could see that.
Like, I looked forward to coming to work until a certain point.
Right.
Until a certain point.
Right.
But it was fun, right? Like, it was my friends. We were all like doing something that we loved, and
y'all was getting a lot of props. Y'all was like, the city was looking at y'all in a big way. We always go to clubs and we get carte blanche. I mean, the respect was there, man. Like, you know, and then you could deal with all the top artists of our time. Like, what's better than that? It was an amazing situation.
It was an amazing time.
I never grasped onto that because I didn't go to college.
Right.
I barely graduated from high school. And I just I loved hip hop. I was involved with hip hop from day one. I was in the Bronx with my grandfather at 11 years old.
But did you look down at the college community?
I didn't look.
You used to do that in the office.
Okay, that's a great question.
College,
that's a great question.
Here, whatever.
That's a great question. I didn't look down. I felt that the college community looked down on the street.
Right. So it was an insecurity with y'all.
Well, no, not necessarily insecurity. It just was, because I remember even in Boston, we'd go up to Amherst to the parties, and they used to hate us. You know, college guys didn't like when street guys come into the parties.
Right.
And it was the same thing kind of with the source. Like, the thing with, and this is a subject. Hip hop was developed and found not from college people. Let's make sure we understand
you used to
that.
Say that in the office.
Yeah, because it's true. It came from the South Bronx in the 70s. I don't know if people understand how.
Not from college people.
Absolutely not. Hip hop was not found from college people.
From college people, but you used to group the college
because there was a split, and it just even our communities. You have a mother that has look, boys in the hood. Mm-hmm. Ricky went to college. Fucking doughboy stayed home and sold drugs.
Insert the saxophones here. Please insert the boys in the hood saxophone.
That's
here.
what it was. That's what it was.
Oh
So
my
the only
gosh.
time Ricky was home was during the summer times and
Right.
everything. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
they try to shield him
And
from the
Ricky's
streets.
the one that
Only because he went to
caught
the
it.
store and he caught it, unfortunately. But on the most part, the college guys don't catch it.
Okay.
All right, that was the magic of that story.
Okay.
Rest in peace to John Singleton
and to Ricky.
and to Ricky. No, Ricky's still living.
No, but I mean,
Oh,
the
Ricky's dead,
character.
but yeah, but
not
Morris Chestnut. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
The character.
Right, but I'm saying that was a split, and it was a split in hip hop because remember, when gangster music came out, all the gangster shit, Ice Cube, and everything, you have the flip side of the
Right.
college people like in Q-Tip and like it's in the backpack community. So it really was a split in hip hop too at one point.
It was. I liked both.
Me too. I love all hip hop, but I loved gangster music.
Okay.
That was my preference.
All right.
Now, but I just want people to understand that hip hop came from very bad conditions. And this thing that's $1 trillion industry now in leading the culture all over the world, as far as lifestyle, that came from the worst conditions in America in the 70s at
Yep.
that time.
Yep.
And I always want to represent that. And I always felt that my presence at the source represented that part of it, the authentic part of that.
But there were others that had that.
XXL didn't have that.
No, I'm talking about in
Vibe
the
didn't have
source-
that.
I'm talking about us as employees.
No,
right?
there was nobody else out in there.
What are you talking about? I'm from 160.
I know where you're from, but you went to college. That's the
So
point.
that changed my upbringing?
Of course,
That changed. So
absolutely.
as soon as I went to college,
absolutely.
all my street
yes.
credibility just went
it's
out
not
the
about
window.
street credibility. It's just that the reason why your mom and pop loved you to go to college because they wanted you to get the fuck away from the streets. It's dangerous. It's bad. We don't want nothing to happen. That's what every parent wants their person. Unfortunately, I didn't go. It's either
Right.
you go to the army or college.
Right.
Those are the only two outs as
At
far
that
as
time.
as
At
far
that
as
time.
yeah, to get out the streets. But once you did that, you did separate yourself. Now, you didn't separate yourself from the culture
Right.
because fortunately hip hop was all inclusive.
Unified.
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
okay. So I still want my street cred.
Yes.
So look, I wore
Yes,
this today.
you're born in the projects, so you are born in the
I was
struggle.
born in projects. It's just like a little bit tenements. But so
That's like Coney Island projects.
I
as far
wore
as I'm
this
concerned.
today. Did you see that?
Oh, that's the charm bracelet.
You didn't see this. I wore
Wow, you still got that, Kim. Wow.
it. Who got this?
So,
Tell this story.
well, it's a little disappointing,
yours?
man. I don't got no jewelry no more. This is the disappointment. You know, I probably spent
Did
well
you pawn?
well over 2-3 million.
What
maybe
did you do with the source necklace?
I had pawned all of them, man. I got indicted. I needed the money. Like when you get jewelry and there's no more money,
Yeah.
that's
Tell
the
me
first
about
to
it.
go.
Tell
So
me about
everything had to go. For lawyers, for bills, to pay debts. I mean, everything had to go.
Right.
And I didn't mind giving. I didn't mind doing it. I didn't, it doesn't, listen, from the kid and the thing, we always went to the pawn shop.
Right.
You have jewelry,
Yeah.
you're up and you're down, you're up
Yeah,
and you're
you
down. That's the
cash
life
it
of a
in.
hustler.
Yep.
Okay. We probably spent over $2 million cash with Jacob. Jacob
And
acts,
this is before.
Jacob acts like he
people
doesn't even know me.
Really? This
Jacob
is
acts
before.
like-
This is a Jacob bracelet.
I brought the whole staff charm bracelets and real gold
Not
diamonds.
the whole staff, because this
Whoa,
created,
just the special ones.
This created
special ones.
Like me having the
Long-
bracelet
longevity.
and certain people not having the bracelet created some sort
Yeah,
of
because they
like,
wasn't there long enough. If they was there life, you was in an important role, you got it. That's all. It's not like it was a knock on you, but you had to put more work in.
You had to
I
put
mean,
the work in, yeah.
Yeah, and you had to fuck with the Z stuff. You know, if you was one of the ones that wasn't fucking with me, then there'll be no Jacob for you. You know what I'm saying?
No Jacob for you. So this is when we were still cool. And I got my bracelet and I was doing a good job.
But look.
So this bracelet, this is a Jacob bracelet.
Yes.
Right? The men got chains.
Yes, with the S
and,
piece.
and with the S.
Remember all the 3s I gave away and the M's I gave
yes.
away?
And the girls got bracelets.
Charm bracelets.
Charm bracelets.
Real diamonds, real gold,
diamonds,
real platinum. Absolutely.
Real gold, real platinum.
Absolutely.
And Jacob designed them all. And this is way before Jacob was like,
Well,
he was at the height.
I designed the pieces. Like, see, one thing people don't know, even the Jacob watch, let's make this clear. First of all,
Jacob don't
I was
acknowledge
one
you
of the
no more?
first ones because Tito was the original guy,
The jeweler.
the jeweler on 47th Street.
Right.
Then Jacob used to come down to Tito's. When the Jacob watch came out, Chris Air was the first one to come out with his own watch, the Iceman, back then. The African guy, he's the one that did the big first 3-piece, right?
Right.
And he was one of the first ones to start advertising with the
Right.
Source with his own watch, the
Right.
Iceman watch.
Right, because Jacob used to take
Jacob
ads in the
came
Source.
later, with that. Chris was the first with his own watch.
Okay.
Jacob came later, and I helped him kind of like design it. Like, I remember one of the first, this is way before the Jacob watch, I got a show part. I had him put the diamonds, take this dial out and take the diamond and put it backwards so that the point of the diamond's coming out.
Right.
And I had one of the first one to have a rubber band, and I had the different color bezel. Remember the big Zeno piece with all the different color
Yep.
stones? Nobody was doing different color stones back then. You know what I'm saying? Nobody.
So he don't mess with you anymore, Jacob?
The last time I seen Jacob was at Scott Storch's years ago. He had just got out of jail, I think.
Right.
And he looked like he just didn't. They were sitting by the bar. He didn't even say hi to me. I don't know if he recognized. I don't know what the fuck it was. But I spent over $2 million. I know Angel, his wife, his brothers. I mean, do you understand?
That's the industry. Like, it's so many people
He
that
came
I
to my
put
crib.
on the cover of the magazine.
Oh, absolutely.
That I fought you to get into the magazine and stuff. Like, fighting for these art. They don't even see me. They don't say hello or whatever.
Nah,
and I just keep it pushing. I'm like, all right, it is what it is.
You know what it is?
I don't really care.
You know
like,
what it is? Everybody, I think with social media, everybody really forgets anything you've done for them these days. We're talking to everybody because what social media does is just put you in the now. Everything has to be now.
yeah, instant
So anything that
gratification.
happened, you can't even compute because you looked at 300 images in a day. So how can you remember
Right.
what happened in the past?
Right.
All the shit I've done for people, I don't even remember.
Right, but I don't either. But I'm saying there's particular people in the game.
Absolutely,
Right,
I could understand that.
some people, just as a good person, when they see me, they show love. I show love because they know and they remember. I know what you did for me, right? And then there's other people that act like they don't even know you. It's like, okay. And then it's like sometimes it tricks my brain. I'm like, are we cool? Are we not cool? Do I say hello? Do I
I mean,
not
the
say hello?
Source was the
So
gift.
I'm like, you know what? I'm not even speaking.
Source
'cause
was the
it's kinda
gift and the
crazy.
curse. It's the gift and the curse. For me, it was because all I wanted to do was get my music out. And then all of a
did.
sudden, in 94, when they walked out, Dave ended up buying out the other three guys, and he made me a 50-50 partner.
Okay, now that's the change, right?
1994.
94.
The Red Man, because this is what happened. He put an article about us in the magazine.
Right.
Now, mind you, the Source been out since 88.
Right.
We had a deal with Tommy Boy,
Right.
Flavor Unit, and RCA with Steve Stout. We never got a article in the Source, ever.
Right.
This is 88 to 94,
Right.
6 years. Dave's my man. We've never got an article, all right?
That's 6 years. You never get an article. And I think we need to put this into context, right?
Right.
So like every issue, every month, there's 12 issues a year, right? There's a feature well where you can have at least 4 to 5 stories each month. So now we're talking about in the span of a 12-month period, right? And now this is 6 years. So if you try 6 times 12 is what? 72, right? So now you have 72 months of issues. Let's just say we're going to do the math, right? And you have 72 issues in the time that you're out, and you have 4 chances to give a feature story. The reason why I put that into context, I actually have conversations with people. I'll be like, it's a little exaggerated. Now, I get it. I get the almighty RSO, especially if y'all was snatching people's,
T-shirts
shirts off the table.
Yeah.
People trying to work. They're at their computer. They're doing articles. And here y'all
No,
come.
we didn't do it. We necessarily didn't do it when they was there. It was like when they was gone, we
okay.
would come up to the
Yeah,
office.
so then they-
and then we go over there and we'd see it. We wouldn't just be there, give me a, like the cheesesteak. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
so
that.
it wasn't like I'm taking your lunch
No,
money.
absolutely
It was more
no.
so like
Hell, they
people
wasn't
come to
there. We
work.
would come at the end and everybody's
and
home.
then you
we
take
roaming
your
around the
stuff.
office and people
Okay.
taking shit.
So let's just say I'm writing an article. I come. Where's my, you know what I'm saying? My Red Man t-shirt.
Where's your brand Nubian
Yeah,
t-shirt?
like where's
Right,
the-
and I know
yeah.
that
It probably bothered
probably,
people.
I can
It probably
understand that.
bothered.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
I want to put it into context, right? But you're friends with the owner, right? Because especially nowadays.
Best
where-
friends.
Best friends
Me
with
and
the
Dave
owner,
are best friends.
right? And now there's 12 issues a year, 72 for 5 years or 6 years, whatever we're doing the math, and times that by 4, right? So at
Right.
least there's maybe 400 opportunities for you guys to get an article.
Never got one.
So you never got one, right? Do you think that the group was that bad to the editors that they just felt like you weren't deserving?
No. They was pissed off at us with the relationship with me. First of all,
So you deserve the feature.
Okay, now we're gonna put it in context.
Yeah, let's put it in context.
We're the only group from Boston.
Right.
all the shit that we had been through, we got sued. Remember, we got sued by the police.
Right.
And we lost our deal with Tommy Boy. Just that controversy, that's never happened. We got
Yeah,
caught
it's a
up in
big
that
story.
Ice-T
Yeah.
controversy thing with Cop Killer and One in the Chamber. We made the front page of our newspaper when we got dropped from Tommy Boy. From there, we went to Flavor Unit. We got on the album. Latifah and them played for a whole video. We went on tour with 91, 92.
Okay.
All right. From there, Steve Stout signs us to RCA.
So you thought at the very least, y'all could give us an article in the magazine.
We had 3 deals. And this is the kicker. We're at RCA, and we're having our press day. Now, everybody knows that they don't like us, we don't like them. They lied, James Bernard.
Rest in peace.
Rest
'cause
in
he's
peace,
not
James
here.
Bernard.
Right.
Right, okay, and him and some other guy, I think it was Dennis, Reggie Dennis, comes up and lies and says that they was coming to do a story on us. We know we don't like each other. They lied.
I thought it was Bones Malone.
No, they sent Bones down Boston to do the story. Bones comes to
He's
Boston.
my favorite of the OG writers that I used to
I ended up getting locked up. Bones stayed 2 days. Next thing you know, the 3rd day when I got out, Bones left. The editors told him, get out of there. No, you're not writing that
Right.
story. And Bones,
Really?
nobody could find Bones.
Right.
Dave's looking for him. The editors looking. Bones was scared. And Bones just disappeared off the face of the earth. People thought he was doing drugs. Nobody don't know what the fuck happened to Bones. But he was in a precious situation and he disappeared, right? Because he thought we was after him now because he came down there to write the story. He chilled with us for 3 days and then I got locked up. The next day when I got bailed out, he left. Nobody could find him. We're at RCA, right? We got an EP deal. This is Garth Brooks' label.
Right.
This is fucking RCA. They don't even sign gangster rap.
Right.
Steve Stout gets us the deal.
Do you still talk to Steve Stout?
No.
Or you guys have a problem?
Another story. We'll talk about that later.
Okay, let's
All right.
do that later.
So James Bernard and them come up and they said, I have a summons for you in front of everybody's there. It's a press day. So all
Right.
the press is there. All the major press, because
Right.
RCA gets major press.
Right.
We tore that office up, broke the whole glass wall. I mean, beat the shit out of them, right?
Uh-huh.
And we got dropped. The next day, got dropped from RCA.
So y'all deserve the damn story. Y'all deserve the story, right?
Why
The
would they?
magazine.
But let's talk about that. Why would they come up there to do that? Why would they try to embarrass me and serve me a summons? Like so they was really on some bullshit from the
Right,
start.
right.
Once they left, Dave bought them out.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, when me and Dave linked, the Source flourished. We started making a lot of money.
Listen, I always
Like-
claimed that, my time was the height of the
Absolutely.
success.
We was making $2-3 million a month.
Crazy.
I mean, the money was just. George Moore wore a wire on me. He's getting almost $200,000 a year.
We're gonna have to pause the
Yeah,
Source
like,
stuff and pick up because we can do this all day.
The
We can do this all
accountant.
day. We could do that all day. Before we get to the indictment, we could do this all day. So let's pause the Source, and I want to say because I don't know if you call it elephant in the room, but everybody's gonna be like, didn't she sue them? Yes, I did. We'll get to that.
We need to talk
will
about
get
the
to
Source
that.
and just have one thing on just on the Source, and then we do another one and talk about topics.
But I know just us talking and having this conversation,
So much shit.
a lot of people just don't understand like how there's so much stuff there. But I will say that we did this before. We did this before. Somebody had an idea to bring us together for a podcast.
Nori. So
And we did it
So
in Miami.
So Nori, which, me and Nori are personal friends. We lived in the same building in Miami, shared a lot of personal moments. And that, that's my brother, all right? But brothers go through it.
I know. I always thought Nori didn't like me.
Really?
I did.
Well, he told me he didn't like me because he thought I switched. I was the reason why he didn't get the Source Awards and Silk the Shocker got.
Well,
I said I had nothing
say
to do with
because
that.
when you called and said we're gonna do this podcast in Miami, I was like, Nori, I was like, okay, he's gonna let me do the podcast, and I went down because Drink Chaps is a huge platform,
Right.
So the idea is we're gonna do this thing and it's gonna come out.
Well,
through
I mean, he
Drink
flew us
Champs. That's
down
what I
there
thought.
with the thing like, yo, this is dope. Kim Osorio,
So I was
Benzino,
like,
the
great.
Source. He's seen the vision. He said, come on. And we go down there. But let's remember.
Because I wrote positive things about Nori's album. I
I've-
gave him 4 mics. I
I've-
remember I wrote that
Yeah, but he
review.
wanted 5 though.
Maybe he thought I
No, he thought it was all my fault, and I told him it wasn't mine. I said it was their fault.
but it wasn't a
y'all.
5
I
mic.
said it's
Oh,
y'all.
you put it back on us.
Yeah,
It
because I
wasn't
didn't
a
have nothing to
5
do with
mic
that.
album.
That was
a great
y'all.
album.
It was
wasn't a
y'all.
5 mic. It wasn't a 5 mic album though.
Which album?
Nori, I did the review for that.
It was it
It got
wasn't 5
4.
mic?
It got 4. Did you tell him? That's the problem. You used to tell
No,
people.
I didn't tell him he deserved the 5.
because they was your friend.
I don't
and
even get
then
into
come
the.
back,
I be telling
and I
people
have to-
I be telling people I don't have shit to do with the 5 mic other than the Eminem made men getting 4 and him getting. I said other than in the Outcast, in the Jeezy, other than the Little Brother, other than
Right.
that was it.
Right, but I know because we used to do it as editorial.
But there was thousands of that I had nothing to do with.
Right, but the Nori thing. So we
all
did
artists out
positive
there,
stuff.
take that shit to Kim because
don't
I had
take it to
nothing to
Kim
do.
because
I
it
had
was a
nothing to do
committee,
with that.
and we voted on it, and everybody had
Let
a
them
vote.
know, was I ever in the committee?
were never
Did
in the
I
committee.
ever come back in the back room, listen to it with y'all
You
ever?
never listened to an album and
Ever.
listened to it with us from
Never.
start to, no.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
It was a committee. It included the music team, one of the senior editors, the editor-in-chief had a vote, and the writer got a vote.
People live by that 5 mic.
I know.
And where it got tricky was, the business side is taking ads from labels that you guys are giving 2.5 mics to.
I
so
know. But wait,
we
before
had
we
to
get
be
into
like,
that, but the misconception is that you gave yourself 5 mics, but you never got 5 mics.
no, I gave myself 4.5.
Oh, did you?
The Made Men. I
thought
didn't
it
want to
was
make
4.
it too obvious.
I thought
said
it was 4.
4.5. No, it was 4.5. Was it 4?
I don't remember.
It might
But
have been.
I know it was not
4.
5.
Okay.
It was not a 5 mic,
Right.
and
No.
that was the misconception.
Y'all would have gave us 3.
We would have gave.
So
you,
in
we
retrospect,
would have gave you 3, maybe 3.5.
All right, so then we just
get
raised it up.
bonuses that
A lot of
season.
people love the Made Men album. So let's say it was a 3.5. And when you think about it, I only raised it up 1.5 a mic if it was 4. So it really wasn't a
I
big
don't know
thing.
if it was 4. I don't remember.
The big
But
thing was
we
me
probably
bringing
would've gave-
Eminem down to 2.5.
Hold on.
That was the
when
big
you
thing.
brought Eminem down to 2.5.
We brought him to 2.5. The one that we put him on with the black eye on the
He
cover.
never
Yes, we
got a
did.
2.5.
We gave him 2.5 when I was beefing with him. Yes, he did. I gave him 2.5 mic. Me and Dave inserted
Y'all must
our
have changed
power.
that shit at the last
Yeah,
minute.
and gave him 2.5
I don't remember
mics.
that.
Yeah.
Y'all gave Eminem 2.5. I do not remember that.
Do you
must have
remember
been so angry.
the cover where he had the black eye?
I remember that cover.
Well,
I wrote
that was
story.
his album, and we gave him 2.5
Oh
mics.
God, I hate talking about Eminem. Oh God. Okay, wait.
I mean,
because
it's history, man.
it is history. But the thing is, here, you gave yourself 4.5.
Right. You want to know why?
Yes.
Because I can. I mean, that's how I felt. I felt like I'm beefing with this dude. They already blacklisted me on every radio station. I'm not getting my shit played because they would tell stations, if you play his shit, then you're not going to get Eminem shit.
Right.
And of course, you need his shit. So
But
hold on.
4.5 came before the Eminem
No.
stuff.
It was all around the time he was blowing. This was all the time that he was blowing. He was with Dre. Hi, my name is. All that was out.
Stop talking about Eminem.
Hi, my name is.
I'm not doing
Hi.
it today. No.
Hi.
No. Okay.
But I did that because that was one of the times where I inserted my I am the boss. This is my shit.
Right.
And fuck that. He's disrespectful. Interscope's using XXL. It was all out war. So that's why I did what I did.
Okay. All right. Let's roll.
At retrospect, I wish I never did it. But I understood it.
Did you say that before?
Yeah. I wish I never did it.
Because you were. That's
I
when
shouldn't have done it.
When you was crying on Drink Champs. When you was
I
crying
was
on Drink
drunk.
I said you were drunk crying.
Drunk. I passed out literally as soon as I got to the car. Ashley had to drive me to the hotel in Orlando, and I was gone. I woke up in Orlando.
It was a good episode.
I did 3 prior episodes, and I felt like if I do another one, because when me and Nori talk, it's like kind of generic. Like he's not going to go deep because we're friends.
Right.
So it's almost like he's always going to play it safe with me.
Right.
So I'm like, nah, fuck that.
So you kind of gave the
I
reality
made
show
sure
moment.
I was
Right.
drinking.
Right.
I got to get drunk so I could just say what the fuck I want to
So
say.
you gave the moment.
I gave
the
the
moment.
And I never got paid for none of that either.
For Drink Champs?
Never.
Do they pay people?
I love, no, but I think that particular episode made a lot of money. And I know that they give away like the little roses. I got that. But I much would have rather
What's the little
got
roses?
a Rolex. The little box of Rolex. The roses they give you. They
if you
give you
go through Drink
roses.
Champs?
It's like a little thing that you put on your fireplace. But I don't got a fireplace, so I don't
So it's like
know
a
where the fuck I'm
Drink
gonna put them.
Champs like award.
It's like it's It's like a thing, like the flowers,
Do you
but they're
still have
gold. I gave it to Ray Ray, my son.
Okay.
It's next to the Adam 22 basketball. Ray Ray got it.
So you
Anyways,
got an award.
it's not an award. It's just a. It's just
Drink Champs Award.
But I would have much rather got a Rolex.
He gives out Rolex
No, but I would have wanted, because I believe that episode made
Right.
lots of money.
for Drink Champs.
Absolutely, for
Think
Nori
they
and
make a lot of money with the
No, I
podcast?
believe that episode that I
That
got
one,
drunk
yours.
on made them a lot of money.
You think it's top 3?
I think so. I think Kanye,
Kanye
me,
for sure.
and yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So you
I mean,
think
when you
you're
look,
one
when
of the
you, when you
reasons
go
why
on to
the Drink
YouTube,
Champs podcast
when you go on to
is
YouTube,
what it
you see
is.
13,000 comments.
It's you.
You know, you don't. You know what I mean? That's not every. You know,
Right.
but I think it was at least top 5. You know what I'm
Top
saying?
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
so it's
top
like,
3. And guess what? None of them. Revolt never really wanted me on their channel, so Revolt never put Benzino's episodes on Revolt. So it's like, damn, I'm doing all these episodes. I'm not getting paid. I'm getting a lot of fucking traction
Right.
on everything else, and still getting hated on
right.
by the
So
platform
you felt like
that
you
owns them.
deserved something.
Fucking
But-
right, man. Like, come on, man. Like, that's supposed to be my brother. That's my brother. And I felt like, look,
Call
Nori
him
knows
on the
my
phone.
financial
Call him on the
situation.
phone.
Huh?
Call him
No,
on the
I'm not doing it.
I called him on the phone.
No, we're not speaking right now.
Why?
Because, man, well, first of all, we go down there. I was
Right.
excited that we were going to get our own
Because that was kind
podcast.
of like maybe the pay.
I thought we was going to get our own podcast.
That was like the Rolex.
We flew down there, right.
Okay.
We flew down there, we did 2 episodes.
Right.
We did
Me
what
and
we're
you.
doing now.
Yes, we
And then
did.
we interviewed him in EFN.
And it was great.
And it was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Change your clothes, everything.
It was great.
Right? And then nothing happened.
Why?
I don't know.
Because he launched a few podcasts after that.
Right. Well, he did say something like, all right, man, I'm going to put it out, but I got to put out Bleak. And then he mentioned
Shout out
2
to
other
Bleak.
people. Yeah, shout out to Bleak. And he mentioned 2 other people. And I was like, I said, bro, I remember.
So you think
I
our
remember what-
podcast was better than everything else?
It's not even about better.
Because it was.
I mean,
I'm going to say it.
I mean, look.
I'ma say it.
Look.
And it's no
no
disrespect
disrespect
to
to Bleak.
anybody, to
I think he
whatever.
was dealing with Angela Simmons and BG. I just think that because of who we are and our relationship with the source and just hip hop and our
Yeah.
resume and everything, I believe that yes, and all the stuff that you've done on TV and all the stuff that I've done, I believe that yes, we was perfect for this.
Right.
Female, male.
Right.
Our story.
Yes.
And he must have seen it too, but for some reason
He didn't put it
It's
out.
like, we're gonna put you on the shelf. And I'm like,
So you got shelved by Nori.
what you didn't know that just the second time he did that. So when I went,
I didn't know.
I was at the Circle House and I interviewed Ja, Kiss,
Oh, that was the big deal.
Safari, and Nori was all there at one time
You did that as a podcast?
as a podcast.
Oh, that was probably
He got
classic.
the footage.
Really?
He got the footage. And the same thing with us. And then I heard you called them for the footage.
I didn't call him directly. I
You
don't have
called
his
Mr.
number
Lee.
like that. I'm
Shout out to
not-
Mr.
yeah,
Lee.
Like I'm not in his inner
Right, shout out
circle.
to Mr. Lee, yeah.
However, I called Mr. Lee and I asked him, to ask Nori what he wanted
Mr.
to
Lee,
do
like,
with
I
that-
don't know,
with
man.
that.
You know, Mr. Lee, you got the money.
I,
You got the thing, we got the
yeah.
cocaine, we in the morning. Mr. Lee said, I
He's
don't
from
know.
Miami. He's from Miami. Yeah, but like I asked, I'm like, let me know because I can cut the footage up and put.
Nah, man. Mr.
But-
Lee's, he does a great.
Yeah, they do
His
a good
whole
job with
crew
that.
do a great job. Like
They're a
I'm
great
so
crew.
proud of Nori. I just think that he knows my situation financially. He knows I'm out
You
here
don't think
hustling and
Why
grinding.
he don't want to throw you that, alley-oop?
Man, I don't know, Kim. I don't know.
You know.
The last time I talked to him, he was like, "Yo."
If you could say something to Nori right in this camera, what would you say to Nori right here?
What I
right
would say to
now?
Nori?
Yeah, right here.
I love you, my nigga. But, when we say that we're friends and we say this publicly, then there has to be some sincerity behind it, and to it's not like I'm asking for a handout.
Right.
I'm good at what I do. Like we're good. We're good at this.
Right.
And I have history and I have a huge fan base. So it's like, why would you, and I'm your friend and your man, our daughters, our sons, we live together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know if it was me,
You would have did it.
I was hiring motherfuckers just off of tours and off of the streets
Did you
and
put
out
Nori
of
on the
jails.
cover of The Source? Was that you? Because I wasn't there when he was on the cover.
Me and Nori wasn't friends then.
Okay.
See, Nori has one of the top 10 and I don't like doing top 10 things, but his verse on TONY was like,
I love
I
it.
went crazy on
Yes.
TONY. Like, I love Nori's music, and as a person, Nori's a
Yes.
great father, and he's a great man, and I'm proud of what he's done, Drink Champs. I just didn't like the way he handled me with the podcast
Right.
situation. And, you know, when you're somebody's friend,
Well, I just opened up the podcast and said that. I don't know who I'm cool with and who I'm not cool with. I just said that to you. I said, and you was like, oh, whatever.
well, the
But
word
this is like the same
cool is
situation.
has changed so much nowadays, Kim, man.
So y'all
I mean,
are cool, but y'all not friends.
yeah, I'm always glad. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm
But
sure.
you saying that's your
no, well, we're
brother.
not talking right now, but brothers talk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Thinking how
all
like
right.
me and Sleezo go back and forth.
Right,
I mean,
right,
one
right.
thing. Listen, one thing about the industry, you live a private and you live a personal life. When your friendship when your friendship goes to TV, like me and
It
Stevie,
changes.
for instance, me and Stevie on Love and Hip Hop, when me and Stevie got into that unfortunate situation at the reunion,
there.
listen, you'd have thought that today, people ask me, this is over 10 years, are you and Stevie still together, man? I loved y'all together. Man, tell me you and Stevie are still cool, man. Like, people take a real interest in the relationship.
Right.
And me and Nori, I've done Drink Champs so much, and he's expressed it so much to where it's just disappointing because I wanted to be under the Drink Champs umbrella. Like, their crew is my crew.
Right.
Bing,
Right.
CJ, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, Mike, all of them. They're
Right.
all my guys, man.
Right.
These are my guys. Sonny, I can go on and on and on. Like, I'm part of the crew, but it just disappointed me because he's not the only one. Now, I asked Charlamagne.
Did you?
Oh,
To put
man.
you on a podcast?
I said, Charlamagne, man, listen, I'm ready to go, man. I text him. He's like, because, me and Charlamagne, like, I'm trying to mend these bridges.
Right.
So
Okay, so that's a good step.
Yes,
Yeah.
I seen him I went to his podcast thing in Atlanta a while back. We
Right.
went
And
there.
he has the whole $200 million network.
Listen, I said, man, I'm ready. I text him. I said, come on, Shaw. Boom, boom. He doesn't answer. Then he's like, oh, okay. But it was no response, man.
Why do
know.
you think that is?
I think a lot of these guys were intimidated with the old Benzino. And I don't think they're really giving the new Benzino a chance.
Give the new Benzino a chance.
I just don't think so. And, because... And then, it could, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys don't want you around their girls, too. That type of thing.
See?
When the Easter come around,
So
insecurities come out.
Here you go.
I start taking off my shirt on these bastards.
Who don't
You know what I'm
want
saying?
you around their
No,
girl?
it's not even that. I'm just saying, in a sense, a lot of guys sometimes the excuse of not dealing with men is because their insecurities around that man.
Right, and that's a problem.
You know
with
what I'm saying?
That's the real problem is with their girl. If your girl is not
But they don't even have to have a girl. I just use that as an example of just guys don't want you to suck up there. When you come in the room, maybe sometimes the attention shifts from them. And I think that's happened so much. And I'm not the one that wears that shit. I'm a humble dude.
Yeah, that's
Kim,
the
you know what I'm
celebrititis
saying?
disease that
You know,
a lot of these
I
people
don't.
have.
Even now, I post pictures with me with no shirt, and thousands of men come on, try to disrespect and everything, and they look like crazy. It's an insecurity thing. I never realized how much men are insecure when it comes to women, and how much I thought women only had that trait. There's more men that have
men
it.
got it.
There's more men that got it.
You get a lot. You get memed a lot.
I mean, I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of memes. A lot of it Eminem. A lot of it because of the controversies that's all over the internet.
Right.
It's made me. It's motivated me.
Yeah, that's
to be
good.
honest. It's motivated
That's
the shit
good.
out of me.
You. I think your story, and even intertwined with the source story, is very interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Say the
It's
least.
very interesting. And so, even when I think about you as a podcaster, right? Because everybody's a podcaster now. I mean, it's just the new hustle, I guess.
Right.
Because people ask me all the time why I don't do it more, and I'm like, for what?
I say it. I tell you that.
You do. A lot of people say, why you don't? I'm like, because where's the
I
money?
mean, but there is money out there.
But see, that's what I always be like, I don't believe
Did you know
it.
that 70% of all podcast money comes from just the audio? From audio podcasts. See, we're so caught up with YouTube and so
Yes,
caught up with the
yes.
visuals that the real money across the world are people that just listen to
the podcast.
to the audio. And that's where the big money comes in. I don't think enough people know that. You know what I'm saying? So you're perfect because of your college background, because of your legal background, because of your hip hop background, because of your TV background.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all great things that make for a great interview or podcaster. Yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science with you, you
Right.
know. But this is a game that
But you're really great podcasting because you give a hell of a moment
and I was
on
the
these
first one to
podcasts.
tongue kiss a girl on Love and Hip Hop.
Are you serious?
First one.
You always make.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? I was the first. No one, because you know what it is?
Who was it? Which one?
It was Carly
It was
Red.
Carly?
It was Carly. But look, everybody was so cool. Like
Right.
when the guys first got on Love and Hip Hop, because remember, it was Love and Hip Hop was just about the girls.
Yeah.
So when the guys get on there and the camera's in front of them, they don't even want to kiss the girl. They want
Right.
to act like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, come here.
Right,
You
but
know
a
what I'm
lot of
saying?
the relationships
Gorilla pimps.
was also casted for like people would not in terms of the production, but people would hook up before they went to the casting to try to like. Yo,
Well,
I think
I'm
you'd be
saying
a
from
good-
first of all, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, all the relationships were. It seemed like even because Scrappy was already with Erica.
Right.
You would think that they would be a lot more affectionate.
Right.
But what happens with men is they don't want to show their vulnerability.
No.
Everybody wants to show that I'm the cool guy.
Yeah.
And, I got mad chicks. See, when I went on there, I did the opposite. I said, I'm only gonna mess with one girl at a time because I'm never gonna get caught up. Because that's what Mona and them do. And shout to Mona, because Love and Hip Hop changed my life, for the good.
You know what? Wow, that's a big statement.
Oh, absolutely, man. Mona
It
deserves
did
her
change-
flowers.
It did change the perception of you.
I was,
Yeah.
because
And I was working on the reunion shows at that time because the executives locked us when y'all did all that stuff in front of the camera.
No, that was
all
bad.
crazy.
That was bad.
We was locked in a control room.
that was bad.
We were locked in a control room.
But I was the first one to really like okay, I'm gonna treat her like a princess or a queen. I'm going to treat her like these, because a lot of women are watching. This is how they want to be treated. A lot of women know that their man isn't perfect. We all come from the hood, and
Right.
everybody has it. But at least that's what they seen in me. At least he's trying. At least he doesn't have 2 and 3 girls like Stevie, Scrappy, Kirk. At least he's not them. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't have a girl at home?
Absolutely not. I was one girl at a time. It went from Carly, then me dating Bambi, then out there. And it was only when I was dating him, I had no other girl. Even when I was with Out There was trying to start trouble with Carly. And I'm like, when the cameras go down, I'm like, why is you doing that? I'm
Right.
not messing with her in real life.
Right.
I said, we'll keep it the way it is. I
Right.
said, I've dated a lot of celebrities before Love and Hip Hop, by the way, that nobody never knew. I'm a private person. So I never was with women fighting over me.
Wait. When you start talking about dating celebrities, this is interesting.
Well, you're the one that brought it all out. It's because
I
of you.
didn't.
Yeah,
I
it was.
brought it
Come on,
all
take
out.
responsibility.
How?
Because you wrote a whole damn book about me and my. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened. Let me tell y'all what happened.
You was
Like
playing
I was
with
a
me.
wild
You was
boy,
playing
right?
with me.
So I wasn't necessarily in a relationship. So I was all over the place. I had millions of dollars. I had a hit record. It just was like, it was like.
I never got in your
Oh,
business
man.
though.
Listen,
I never got in your
listen.
business
So
though.
look,
business was business.
So look, I was doing my thing, but Kim would know where the bodies was at, because when I come in town, I never even had an office at the Source,
Right,
ever. You
right.
tell people I never had an office.
Never had an office at the Source.
There was a couch in Dave's. I would go roll up weed and sit there, and we would party for hours in there
Right.
about strategies and
Right.
creativities and all that.
Right.
Okay, ideas, blueprints. But then we would have man talk, and you'd be around that. So you would know.
I would excuse myself.
Right, but-
from when y'all
right.
started having man talk, I'd
Right.
be like, you know what? I would excuse
Right,
myself.
but as far as celebrities, you knew who I was smashing. You know what
I
I'm saying?
did, but did I ask you any questions?
No, you didn't.
Instead,
No,
that
you
was
didn't.
That was the issue.
No, you didn't. But when you wrote the book, next thing you know, I'm in
At
a
that
federal.
point, it was
This is the
free for all.
funniest shit ever. So Kim writes the book, right? So my love life is in the book and shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's not really in the
Kind
book.
of.
I may.
But when she sued us, I got on stand, and there's a white old Jewish lady judge, and I'm sitting there talking about eating Chinese food, smashing, like all this stuff's coming up with
You
different
was
women in the
wild
covers,
on the
and but she's listening to all this, and there's a fucking jury that's listening. I'm sitting up there on the stand talking about who I'm fucking, and I was like, wow, and you caught a little bit of it too.
A little
caught
bit.
a
I
little
caught
bit
a
of it.
lot of it.
Because
And
we
that's the
only
thing.
a little bit. No, we only knew a couple of bodies from
it's
you.
Different.
Because you had bodies
Don't
too.
do that. We'll cut this. I will control this footage. Don't do that.
We all had bodies.
Don't do that. Ain't no bodies
We was
on
with
me.
the Source.
It ain't no bodies on me. It ain't no
You
bodies
see how
on
women?
me.
You see how women? See, one thing about me. I can admit everything. You know what I'm saying? Now, I was a private person, and you was a pretty private person too. But since you was the first women, okay, first of all, the editorial chief of the Source came with a lot of perks.
Right.
For men.
Right.
It would be women. When it comes to those guys, and these guys they was a little awkward. Like
Yeah.
So they wasn't the greatest with the women.
Right.
I'm not going to say no names.
Right.
But
We're not saying names.
right. But they wasn't the most charismatic type women guys.
Right.
All right?
Right.
But you, on the other hand, you being a female, it was the opposite. If you was a male, Kim, you would have been smashing so many celebrities and chicks. It would have been crazy. That's just my. I've never got to say that to you, but when you got there, you had your perks, and you would be able to go interview all the top guys, and you going up there, little Spanish mommy, you know what I'm saying, big thighs, you know what I'm saying, big ass, and yeah, like they was like, oh, who's this?
But here's the thing.
I'm expecting a man coming up here. Oh, who's this?
And look,
yeah.
look,
So I heard her.
But it's different for women. See, so as a woman,
I understand
right?
that.
For me, and it's so funny because nowadays I'll be like, I'm so like private and prude. Like I'm like, no. And back then, I was private. But
You was private. But you wasn't that private.
Nah. What the problem was that you're supposed to be my boss.
Right. I mean, I'm cool.
And you
I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck.
You didn't care.
I was like, dope, Kim. Okay. I was like, okay. Like, yo, like maybe we'll get exclusive stories. This is dope. Dave didn't give a fuck for sure.
No, yes.
Well, he acted like he
was,
did, but I would talk to him like, yo, chill out, bro. It ain't even that fucking serious. Like, do you understand
but
how...
It wasn't, but here's the thing. It
shit,
wasn't
we could get
that
shit
serious.
from these guys
but
that nobody...
But my shit was blown up to be so young, right? Like...
How old was you?
27.
I
was like 27.
No more daddies, little girl.
No. To be young at that time, right?
No.
And to be
27
single,
is that time.
To be young and to be single, right?
And to be at the head of the magazine.
Right.
You was like the queen of New York at one point. And niggas was on you, and you was trying to be quiet. But guess what? It wasn't so quiet.
No, because
them
they were
bones
trying to
was falling out that closet
like
them bones were falling out like goddamn.
What was going on is that certain people were trying to leverage me. They would take the information and go to you and Dave, and that would make me immediately.
And I would laugh in their face like,
but here's the thing: that would immediately make me disconnect from them. Cause I'm like, oh, you a talker? Like what? Oh, you went to my boss? You went to my? Are you a talker?
Listen, Dave cared. I didn't. And
that was, and it made it.
Yeah, but I handled him though. Look, you and Dave had issues, and you and Dave had real issues, and Dave, I was always the one like. She stays, because at the end of the day, what we always had issues with, whatever dude was in that position was always a problem. It was like they was always trying to mutiny. They always trying to get people against Dave, and it's like, motherfucker, he's paying your check.
Yeah, like
are you fucking crazy? Like, if we're making a decision, don't take it so, the integrity. How do you think we're getting paid? We're getting advertising dollars. If you're doing something against one of the labels that we're dealing with that you never have to deal with, then we just want to come in and have a conversation. Yeah. They'd have whole conniptions and fits. I was like, damn, these motherfuckers are pretty serious about these fucking stories, huh? It ain't that serious,
But that was
bro.
the integrity of the magazine. And that balance is what really made it what it was, right? But I think I definitely had a business sense where you
did. You was the only one. Like, I enjoyed you more than I used to. I didn't like anybody that was in there. We always had problems. Always. You and
Carlito was good.
Carlito was never the head man. Only when you left he was for a minute, and then we lost it after that. No, Carlito was after you.
Me. No. Carlito gave me my job.
Oh, Carlito.
Wow. Before me.
I hired Carlito right out of jail.
Damn. Sorry, C.
Something like that. I just remember that I liked him
Yeah.
because he was locked up, and I was like, "This is what we need. We need more of that.
The streets.
We
versus
need more
the
of that."
college
And that's what I
versus
was
the
doing.
college.
It's not versus, but I made sure it was a balance of
Versus the
street
college.
niggas and college niggas. It had to be a good bag. I bought all my guys from Boston,
Right.
gave them jobs. I would hire people off the street from jail, and now we have a good balance of college and street.
College and street.
Let's all go to Dominican Republic and stay out there and spend millions of dollars and never come home.
And that was the problem.
That was the
problem.
that was the nail in the coffin.
Because I want to, at least before we get to a break or something, I need a break.
I can go smoke. I can go smoke.
Then you could go smoke. But hold on. But you can go smoke. The money. Who fucked up the money at the source?
You got the money?
Who fucked up the money at the source?
You got the money?
I don't have the source
I don't got the money. Do you see the bank statements?
I mean, I won the case.
Did you?
But,
yeah, insurance paid that.
And you always say that. That's
yeah, it ain't come out of
That's
my
why I'm not
pockets.
mad at you, because insurance has to pay.
Man, insurance paid that.
But you still have to understand that when you're the boss at a job, you can't do certain things.
You know what the money was? I don't know what the money was.
Like, you can't do what you was doing.
Look, first of all,
you was doing some things, and we had this conversation before. We did this with Nori.
First of all, I'm
doing some things.
I'm going to say this right now. I never seen a bank statement. I never knew exactly how much he was. I just know that money was coming in. It was so much money. It just was ridiculous.
But I said you know what I said to someone the other day?
I was spending so much money. It was like a blur.
This is what I said, because they were like, "Oh, Benzino, ruined this." So I said, Benzino couldn't write a source check.
Never in my life.
He couldn't write and sign a source check. So
I remember when now the Source Hip Hop Hits,
right,
which was my idea.
Right.
Lior gave us $4.5 million check. I'd never forget that. I'd never forget that now.
What'd you do with the money? Did you
money? You got the money?
You bought somebody a Porsche.
Where the money?
You bought a Porsche
You got the
for
stuff?
someone, and that was a big problem at the source.
I bought Porsches. I bought. Man, listen. One thing about me, about the Z-Star, if I liked you, I really liked you.
You know what? You made Dave give me the money for my Lexus truck. Come on, man. You did.
If I liked you, it's enough money for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be happy.
It was a lot of money that was coming through the source.
Listen,
it wasn't.
I was spending so much money, man. I was doing so much crazy stuff, man.
And then I said, when I was there,
did you know that I never lived in a crib more than a year? I lived in like penthouses and hotels that were like $1,000 a day for like years. Do you understand? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I lived in the best hotels, man, and private jets. And it was just.
But it really wasn't horrible as long as we was getting paid.
You never missed a check.
I never missed a check. But
we gave you a car allowance.
You gave me a car allowance.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck? I was the top person.
You got the money.
No, but the problem was I wasn't making what the men were making.
I didn't know that.
That was the problem.
Isn't that some?
Isn't it?
What do they call that? What do they call that? Like when a man is
gender discrimination.
Not just gender discrimination, but is that some chauvinistic shit?
Yes, it is.
Now look, I love Dave Mays.
So you didn't know that I wasn't making what the men were making.
You wasn't making the money that the men were making?
I wasn't making the money.
Listen, Dave was a chauvinist.
Yo,
I can say that right now. I love Dave. Dave, I love you. But something about Dave and women and about power, I could, like, and I never, like, I'm like, wow, you really are a chauvinist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like he loved to boss women. He loves to show his power with women. Like, I swear to God, I noticed that about D. So he was funny like that. So maybe that's where that came in. Maybe Dave didn't think that the women, and I didn't know that.
Right.
See, I didn't know that.
Right. It took me a while to get to a certain level, and I was doing the job. Like, there was all these things that people don't talk about.
How come you didn't come to me? Did you come to me about it? I think you did, maybe, man. I think I did get you a raise. I think I did something. I got you a raise.
So she shut the fuck up.
Right. That's how it was. Let's give her a raise, man. She does her work. It wasn't in so she can shut the fuck up. But
that's how you used to. You can't do that to someone that works for you. Be like, Kim, shut the fuck up.
Look,
I'm gonna
I
give
used
you
to
the
think money would solve everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I was your boss, I had to be one of the greatest bosses you've ever had.
You were. I don't know about that.
What other boss gives you diamonds? What other boss gives you raises and car allowance? Who the fuck else does that?
I told you in hindsight. When
For
I look
sure,
back,
We TV, BET, none of them motherfuckers ain't did nothing like that.
Never did.
All right.
They never did.
Come on. I mean, I had my good points.
And you had your bad points.
Look, no. But the bad points was how you looked at them. Not necessarily was bad.
here's what I want to say about that, because it's very important,
Yes.
right? Like, you're right. You are right about that, right? But at that time, and I think the industry was buck wild, running wild in terms of how men were treating women, especially in the office. So as a woman that was young and who was scared for her job, right? Like, I feel intimidated by certain behavior, right?
Got you.
So
I
this
mean,
is,
there might have been a lot of perverts in there, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was. Not if this ain't perverts.
you was doing stuff to people, to
Not
women.
me. I mean, listen.
But you can't do.
I had a relationship with.
No. No.
Why not? I mean, we're talking.
No.
But that was the only thing I did.
No.
Like, I wasn't. Like, I wasn't. I wasn't bothering women. Women were bothering me.
Not one woman on here would. I will never do that to any
All
of
right,
those.
I'm saying I had a
women at the
relationship with
source that were
somebody
like,
at the office. That was a consensual relationship with two adults. She liked it, didn't me? What you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, she'd come to the penthouse at lunch.
No, stop rolling. Stop,
Beef and
stop
broccoli.
filming. No.
Yeah.
No.
You want to take the
No.
the break now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, because shit.
Stop.
They love this Easter.
Stop rolling.
Hold on.
Are we
Let me
rolling?
tell her, babe, we're wrapping up. We got 10 more minutes. I'm going to call you right back. Okay. Let's go.
Yep. Good to go whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. So
So
you have something to say?
No, I'm just saying we got to do this over. Because, Kim, we got so many stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly,
I didn't
like,
even really get to the stories because when we
this
start
was like a
talking
gloss over.
yeah, we start talking about the source, it kind of can
There's
go and
so
go and go.
much. There's so much stuff that we got to talk about that we definitely have to do it again.
Yeah.
But you got to come to it. I guess I'm going to have to come up here now. This is the
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah,
Constantine, Malik. So,
come
I'm out. Yeah,
come
I'm
to
with
Red
it.
Summer. Yeah.
I miss New York. I love New York, man.
You don't like being in Atlanta?
I like Atlanta.
I've
It's
thought
a black
about-
city. I like Atlanta. I lived in Miami. I lived in LA. Lived in
Remember
Houston.
when you had
all
Club
over the fucking
Zeno in
place.
Miami?
Club Zeno in Miami was legendary.
Source Awards when it was in Miami.
We did 3 Source Awards in Miami.
I remember.
And then MTV came and did their awards. There's so much stuff that
You know
we
what's
could talk
crazy? Because the Source Awards did kind of set the
I mean,
trend for
listen,
those,
I want to give
for
BET a
hip-hop
shout out.
awards. Yeah, the BET Awards was good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And I think if they, instead of, see, the irony of that was we had a deal with BET for the last awards.
remember.
And we actually made a profit with them. We profited a lot of money for that. That was the only time we ever profited for the Source Awards.
Really?
Yeah, it was, me and Dave took losses, you know what I'm saying, with the Source Awards.
Right.
But the vision was there
Right.
that we would, and sure enough, and Dave had, both of us, we knew that if we just put our all in it and that eventually this would be the major award show. And then, man, it all just came crumbling down. And then the thing was, BET kind of did their own show. They didn't honor the second year, and they just went and
Did
did
the Hip Hop Awards.
Hip Hop Awards. And now they don't have the Hip Hop Awards. That
Right.
didn't do so well. And what they should have been doing all along was putting all their effort and integrate hip hop into and that's what they did. I think it was a great balance.
With this year's BET Awards.
It's one of the best BET Award shows I've seen in a minute.
Nice.
So kudos
and
to them.
Drewski was a really good host.
Drewski was amazing.
Yeah.
He should host it from now on.
Yeah, which is kind of, it's funny because a lot of people would have said, oh, no, he's not big enough. But like, he was the perfect.
Drewski's going to be this age as Dave Chappelle.
Wow.
That's why I see him. You know what I mean? Like, he's really good with the
Yeah, because there's
with
a
the
different
skits,
type of comedy.
the makeup.
Yeah, exactly. His
and
skits
yeah,
are
he's going to
good.
be this, Dave Chappelle.
You know
definitely.
what I remember? The first time I ever saw Kevin Hart, he was hosting the Source Awards.
He was the first time he was like an usher. He was not an usher, but a guy that was going up and down the aisles interviewing people.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's where
Right.
that was my first, like, Kevin Hart.
That was the first
was
time.
at-
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot
I
of
mean,
people
Bernie
started-
Mac first. He hosted the Source Awards, the very first Source Awards in '94.
A
God
lot
rest
of
Bernie
people
Mac.
started
Flex.
Source Awards.
Flex.
Right.
Dr. Dre and Ed Lover.
Right.
And then the girls. With Trina, Lisa Ray.
Right. That's crazy.
So, but BET, they got it right, and that's good. I still think that there needs to be the Source Awards needs to come back.
Yeah, it should.
And they should let me and Dave do it. If you know, honestly, they should let me and Dave do it.
So we got to come back to find out what happened with.
But of course, Kim, you've made so much strides in TV. It would be like this would be.
Dave wouldn't let me. Yeah, Dave wouldn't let me. And that's fine. I hope
listen,
no.
I don't look at
when he went on the apology tour and called all of the old people that worked at the source, he didn't call and apologize to me.
We're all adults.
No, I'm fine.
And we have to know that the past is in the past. No, because look at you. I already see that right there. Look, you haven't done that the whole time when you just.
Maybe it's
I see the fire smoke coming out.
Said he was chauvinist. You said that. I never.
No, but not in a bad way. I just thought that as a boss, he was real hard on women. And I'm just, I'm saying, like, kind of jokingly with the chauvinist thing, but Dave was hard on women as a boss. I did notice that.
Like, I talked to him. He sent me a cease and desist.
Well, he's a hard boss, period.
He sent me a cease and desist.
Maybe men would be a better.
Did you hear what I said? He sent me a cease and desist.
Really?
Yes.
When was this? After the book?
No, when NPR did like my story in 2023.
Okay.
They wanted to do the story. Listen, they came to me. I moved on.
I remember that.
He sent me a cease and desist. I told NPR to pull my interview. I said,
but Dave wouldn't be able to send the cease and desist because he didn't own the source.
But I said
Londell would have to send the cease and desist.
No, it wasn't Londell.
Right, but I'm saying that doesn't hold up because he no longer.
But I'm saying, here's what I said to him though. Instead of going back and forth, I did a Zoom with him. I said, you want me to pull my NPR interview? I'll tell them to pull my interview.
Oh, you did a Zoom with Dave?
I don't
you
want
actually
all that energy.
Seen Dave?
Yeah.
Wow.
In 2023.
So how was that energy? How was that?
He was fine, but the point is he didn't
How was he? Was he laughing, smiling?
I can't tell if he's smiling. What's that like? It's a weird sort of like thing. But my thing is, he asked me not to have the interview run in NPR. And I said, okay, because I'm 20 years out that shit. I'm like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, so I told NPR, they were like, your story is so important, and they were right. But I was like, but I don't want
this source journey. It's like, okay, we got a lot of history. 2023. We have a lot of history. The source journey.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different parts. I don't understand. Like, nobody got shot. Nobody got killed, stabbed. There was no, whatever. Like, I don't see why. What is it with?
And there's people that's not here anymore.
What is it with the human mind that you can't let the past, or the past keeps haunting you?
Well, I think
and not just haunt you to mess up opportunities.
The source was such an institution, right? It was so important to people. And this is what I say all the time. Like, everybody wants to claim the ownership of it. Like, I don't
even post the source. You don't even know I was with it. I don't.
But you were an important part of the history. Listen. Look, I went to the car.
How did I even get involved with the source?
I hate this cover, yo.
That's what's so crazy. Like, if Dave never came to the thing, I wouldn't even. As much as I love the source, it's like, damn, the source. Like, I would have been.
I wrote a book about it, and it was in my car.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I hate the cover. I don't like the cover. I don't like the way they made me look.
Cover's not bad.
I don't like the way. I don't know why the company told me.
I'm using that for my podcast now. You know that, right? Straight from the source. I'm using that for.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Like, you stole my title.
I'm doing the audio. It's straight from. We can all be straight from the source.
It's fine. I don't own it. They do.
Straight from the source's mouth. Ooh, that's what it was supposed to be. That's what it was supposed to be. Straight from the source's mouth, not the horse's mouth. The source's mouth.
So maybe, right? Because I didn't name.
I like that.
What we were doing, I said, "Oh, we got to do this again."
Or the source's mouth.
Yeah. So we got to come up with a name. You're in this book.
I'm the star.
You can get it on Amazon.
I'm the juicy part.
You're the villain.
Not the villain.
You're the villain.
I'm really the guy that got out the women.
No, you were the villain.
I mean, if sometimes the guy, like, you ever see the movies where the villain gets all the women?
You were the villain.
I was a dope, fly, rich villain.
Yo. I haven't looked at this in so long. I don't even know. I was so young, though. I feel like I was so young.
I was so young. You wasn't young.
I was young. What are you talking about?
You act like you was 21 years old.
No, but I was young. This was young. This happened to me young. Come on.
Listen,
a 27-year-old don't know nothing.
First of all, to write a book 27 is a great accomplishment.
Or 29.
Second of all.
No, I might have been in my 30s when
Second of all, the book did well.
Yes.
But imagine if it was now that you wrote the book.
It's a different book. I'm writing a book now. Did I tell you about my book?
It was about
The People versus Hip Hop.
Right. Remember I told you want to do something about me?
I need to interview you.
Because I'm one of the, listen, people don't realize I'm one of the only ones that ever beat a federal tax case.
You did.
Like, I just looking at Twister, he got problems. He might have to go in for a year or two.
I saw that, but you know what's crazy? You were saying it before, how such and such wore a wire in the office.
George Moore wore our accountant for 5 years, wore a wire, which I never knew now, but I knew then that was that little thing that he wore. And I was like, why the fuck is this guy the only one in the whole office wearing this name tag? He had a name tag with a picture on. And one day he just popped up with it, and I just was like, what the fuck is that, right? Now, he always dressed with a suit shirt and some slacks, and his office was across from Dave's. So we never really, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd talk about the Patriots, he'd talk about the Jets because he's from Jersey.
Right.
He, like half Italian, half Jewish,
Right.
maybe all Jewish and Irish. I don't know. So we never had no bad problems.
Right.
We never had no issues. But he was the guy that knew where the money was being spent. And I was spending money like crazy. Maybe he was mad about that. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, probably.
But we was paying him a couple $100,000 a year, another car allowance.
More than me, and he was a man.
The feds
and he did not
approach
have a position
him.
that I had. Okay.
They
great.
pull over at Dunkin' Donuts by George Washington Bridge. They go in Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
And they said, hey, what about the idea of you wearing a wire? He was like, wow, that sounds like that sounds like adventurous or
Right.
some shit he said. And he wore a fucking wire, man. There was no reason. And
that's crazy. Like, to put that into context, that somebody in the magazine was wearing a wire.
I was looking at, Kim, listen, they interviewed all y'all.
I never did no interview.
Right, but you know the entire staff did interviews. A lot of motherfuckers did interviews.
I never got interviewed.
Yeah,
and I know
a bunch of people did.
My phone rang.
Right.
And my position is always no.
Right. Look, a lot of people they interviewed over 148 people, right? They was trying to hit me with a RICO. It was extortion, money laundering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think 2 murders in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And tax evasion. And they was like, listen, why don't you take 25 years? They went, but God rest my mother, they went to her house and told her to tell me to take 25 years or I'm gonna get the kingpin thing and go away for life. And I start just calculating everything I've ever done in my life, like, and they was investigating the criminal side of that for almost a year and some change. They'd be laying downstairs in their cars at the office. I mean, this was going on. Once they interviewed nobody, the dots never connected to get an indictment. But the tax thing, now George was running around. Every time I come up there, I'd be on to, I was never at the office.
Yeah.
I'd
in the evenings you'd come. And
I'd be all over the fucking place.
When you were stealing the promo shirts.
Yeah, like when I wanted to steal the NWA shirt and shit. But, which I did, by the way. I forgot who it was. So, yeah, like he wore it. And then he would always approach me and be like, hey, Ray, you know you got to do your taxes, right? So at first when he'd be like, well, George, that's what you're here for. You know, I wasn't too mad about it. Yeah, sure. Like, go sit down with Dave.
Right. And
go do my taxes.
Right.
Because I don't fucking know a W-7, a W-2, W-2 oil, W-9, none of that shit.
Right.
You and Dave know that. I don't know that. So he asked us again. And he still got this fucking name tag on, which ended up being the microphone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Dave, man, like, why is he fucking asking me? I says, tell him stop asking me about these taxes. I would be in the hallway. Hey, Ray, you know we got to do the taxes. He would keep doing this, right?
It was like...
So I would never say nothing. I'm on a tour bus one time, because I wasn't answering his calls no more. Hello, click. 2 times comes, I'm sleeping, here's George. Hey, Ray, we got, click.
Right.
when I got indicted for the tax evasion, we ended up going to the courtroom, and you can now see everything that was on the wire.
Right.
Every time I hung up on him, you'd hear him say, because the wire was still going, damn, he hung up on me again. Fuck. Like, excuse me, he hung up on me.
Right.
He marches in the fucking courtroom. It was an all-white jury, all 12. Because when I picked the jury, they said, well, do you know Ray Dog, Benzino, Source Magazine, every black and Latino person? I had one Indian motherfucker left, and he was an alternate.
Right. Wow.
I said, I'm going to jail.
Right.
So we had a good lawyer, old guy from Florida, Jewish guy.
Right.
And George came in and testified. I mean, you could tell he's flush red.
Right.
He's sitting up there. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at this motherfucker. I just could
Wow.
not fucking
Believe
believe this
it.
shit. Now, mind you, I'm like, why the fuck am I here and Dave's not here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't
Right,
think
but
Dave
that-
was. I didn't think Dave was part of it.
Yeah, no,
But it just
but-
was like, yo, I'm getting ready to go to fucking jail. The only one I never even seen paperwork, nothing. I would just get American Expresses.
Right.
I get my check. I
Right.
get all kind of deposits. I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Everything was cool.
Right.
If I needed money to pay for
Right,
a
they
$100,000
give it
bill
to
at a
you,
hotel, Dave. Like I never had to do anything, man. Pay all my bills, rent, light, car notes. I never touched nothing, ever,
Right.
for years. And this motherfucker's in this off. So they offered me 3 years. I said, nah, fuck that. The most I can get is 5 years. They said, take the 3 years. The most you can get is 5. If you take it to trial, you're gonna get 5.
Right.
Coy had just been born, was just, I said, you know what? It'll give me another 6 to 8 months on the street with them, with Ray and Coy.
Wow.
Taj wasn't born yet. At least I'll be with them more, because she was just, you know what I'm saying? I want to spend more time with her. And I said, fuck it. I knew I was going. I knew I was
You
finished.
didn't think you
I
were
knew
gonna
I was
win because
what?
of how they
The only
played.
thing we was paying for was just me time out a little longer.
Right.
That's all it was, just to give me a little more time in the street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was trying to put some other things together because we was getting ready to lose the source later on. We didn't know it then.
Right.
But it was getting hectic. Everything was starting to get hectic.
Right.
And yeah, man, I thought I was done. And then I remember the closing arguments. My lawyer passed out on the closing arguments.
Really?
Just passed the fuck out. So here comes the ambulance, put him on a stretcher. They take him back to the judge's chambers. He comes back out. He goes to the hospital. I didn't know nothing. He's waving at me with an oxygen thing like this. I'm looking at him. Now, mind you, nobody's in the courtroom with me because I knew I was going to jail. I didn't want my mother. I didn't want nobody to come. You know, at the time, Asia with the baby, court, nobody kind of want nobody because I'm going to jail.
Right.
I don't want motherfuckers in there. And plus, you know, it's bad enough. I didn't cut my hair. I got braids. I'm in a federal court. It's a woman judge, white judge. I'm toast. I'm grass. I knew it. With the grace of God, man, he came back the next day. His heart defibrillator went out. Came back 2 hours later. They found me not guilty. All white jury. Now, mind you, this is tax evasion. Al Capone. We can go down the list. It is impossible. And I ended up beating the charge, man. With a jury that found me not guilty.
Congratulations.
And what I thought was they must have seen the same thing. Like, why would you wear the wire?
Right.
You're the accountant.
Yeah.
What do you keep pressing him for? The feds had him do that. He was just a guy doing what they wanted him because, see, they spent all this millions of dollars on this investigation.
I know.
When it fell apart,
I know.
They're like, fuck it, man. Listen, wear a wire. We got to get him by any means necessary.
By any means necessary.
And look at how God worked. And people never even knew that. And I'll never forget. And I love you, Dave. But Dave's mother popped up there. They thought I was going,
They thought you were going to jail?
They thought, because Dave's mother really didn't like me. Dave's pops was cool, man. God rest Dave's father, man. Cool as hell. But the moms, and it wasn't a racial thing. It just more or less like, you thug guys are around my baby, you know, Harvard graduate Dave, not knowing Dave's a wild fucking boy.
Versus the
yeah. If she was there when there was 6 Chinese women at the Waldorf Astoria, she seen Dave. Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same.
What just happened? So listen, shout out to the podcast. What just happened? We got to do this again.
We got to.
Because there's so much more I want to ask.
There's so many episodes. And
so
hours
many
and hours
episodes.
and stories. We haven't even touched the...
No, when this goes off, I have so many questions about what
there's
you
so
just
many
got
stories.
Into. Yeah.
With other celebrities. Remember when Jay and Dame came to the office and the guns? There's a lot of stuff that...
Wait a minute. It's a lot of people that came to the office.
And went guns. There was a lot of guns. There was a lot of gunplay at the source offices. Yeah.
So we got
behind the scenes. Yeah.
This has to be like the first in a series. Like we got to do like.
We got a lot of them because there's a lot, Kim.
And there's a lot of podcasts out here right now. It's kind of like the same. They cover, like, not that we can't talk about celebrity topics and things going on, the BET Awards, but a lot of stuff when it comes to the storytelling, right? It's not as, because people do focus their podcast on storytelling. Like Fat Joe does storytelling, right? Like, and he's good with that.
I got a lot of stories. I got stories with every celebrity, all kind of shit. So go ahead.
Right.
My thing is this. All the stuff that comes now somehow, somewhere relates back to us.
Right. The source.
Relate, period.
Right.
All the stuff that happens now, even the headlines,
Right.
there's a way that I could tie it right into, because it's all relative.
Right.
And we was there, we was part of the architects of this. Love us or hate us, you know what I'm saying? We are who we are. We got history, and yeah, we need to keep this going.
All right, so I'll see you in episode 2.
Episode 2. All right, you gonna let me get that? No, I want that. I need that.
I'll give it to you. I was gonna leave it for Malik.
No, man, I need that. Because I never really, I read the parts about me. I just was like,
it's funny.
Really, to me, you know me. It was like, I was like,
we got to cut. We got to cut.
You know?
Yeah, like, listen, we got to cut.